Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, chairperson and the panel. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mankese Tema again. This is day 3. Now you really know how to pronounce my name, Mankese. I've been calling it for the last few days, and now I'm sure. We're going to start with our program now. I'm just checking with the chairperson if I can then request you to come and do the opening and welcome for the third day so that we then proceed with our program, Chair. Thank you so much, Chairperson. Kindly come to the podium to open and welcome everyone to this third day. Thank you so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, those online and those who are physically present today with us. As the facilitator has correctly said, this is the third day and the last day of the mining inquiry. We hope that the engagements are as robust as they were yesterday and as well as Tuesday. So I officially say welcome to the last and final day of the mining inquiry. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Now we are about to call Mr. Gerard Blow, the CEO of Sefateng Chrome Mine. May I kindly check with you if the panel is ready to welcome Mr. Gerard Blow? Thank you so much. May I then request Mr. Gerard Blow, the CEO of Sefateng Chrome Mine, to come to this podium? Thank you so much. If you have colleagues, they can join you there.
Good morning, sir. Will you be taking the oath or the affirmation?
I'll take the oath.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give, to the best of your knowledge and belief, is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any objection in taking the prescribed oath?
No, I don't.
Do you consider the prescribed oath to be binding on your conscience?
Absolutely.
Please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
The podium is yours, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, good morning, Madam Chair and the panel, and ladies and gentlemen, and Madam Program Director. I understand the mispronunciation of your name. My name is actually Gerard Blau, so I have exactly the same problem that you have. Before I start, I want to say that Sefateng Chrome Mine is both a curse and a blessing. A curse in that we are relatively new. It's a greenfields operation that we started. So as a company, we had no balance sheet. A blessing is that we could tap into best practice that's out there in the mining industry, and of that I am extremely proud. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to talk about the issues first. That is just a locale map of where we are, but I think everybody knows where we are. We are on the R37. The nearest community from our mine, Swartkoppies, is about 2 to 3 kilometers away. It's an underground mine that we started about 2 years ago. Prior to that, we did some open cast at Waterkop and some open cast at Swartkoppies, but that ceased towards the end of 2017. So currently on Swartkoppies, we are doing exclusively underground mining. That is just a location again. I said I'm going to do this differently than my other predecessors, in that I'm going to talk first of all about the complaints that I am aware of. One of those is the fact that we've been accused of blasting, which causes cracks in houses, etc., etc. We do not do any open cast mining or blasting above ground. For the past 5 years, we have only been focusing on the underground mine. And as I said, the underground mine is 2 to 3 kilometers away from any community. When blasting gets done underground, obviously it is conducted by experts and under very, very strict supervision. We have progressed onto open cast mining at Waterkop for a specific reason. This was where the area was absolutely devastated by illegal miners. And with the assistance of the DMRE, SAPS, and the Army, we finally managed to get the illegal miners removed from the area. And we feared that they would go back there again, as it happened in many, many times before. So what we did, we then engaged a contractor to firstly rehabilitate the areas that the illegal miners had left as dangerous. In fact, I am told that they had about 6 fatalities there. So it was extremely dangerous to both people and to the cattle that roam around there. So the open cast mining that we are doing at Waterkop, again, is exclusively using rippers. And rippers, obviously, as Samanko yesterday demonstrated, it is an extremely safe. It uses vibration. It doesn't use any explosion. If I may go on to the next. On the movement of trucks, the only heavy movement of trucks is from our underground mine to the R37. And again, I say there's about 3 kilometers from the R37. And we have a traffic control management practice that everybody has to adhere to. Strict, very, very strict speed controls that we have on site. And number 2, obviously, we have dust measurement extremely often. Just on the environmental feedback and water monitoring, there's one area where the nitrate levels is fairly low down, where the nitrate levels we've detected is a little bit elevated, but nowhere else is that the case. And this is groundwater. So we actually monitor the groundwater every month. And we keep those records to us, obviously available. And we report to the DMRE on that as well. In terms of dust fallout, residential areas, the maximum allowable is about 1,200 units that's expected. Unfortunately, we cannot see the right-hand side of the screen there. Ours is consistently below 600. So we don't exceed even half of what is expected. There's a graphic presentation of the dust monitoring that we have. We keep a complaints monitor register, which Every complaint that we receive is logged. We manage it until that complaint is resolved. And our complaints come through our website, in person, emails, letters, yes, and through some of the representatives that engage with the mine as well. I want to talk a little bit about our social and labor plan, and specifically in the areas of HRD. This particular slide shows SLP1, which was from 2015 to 2019 as a period. This has been closed out completely. Again, I can't point out to you, but we've exceeded our spend on there by about 106% in terms of that SLP1. I don't know exactly how many bursaries we offered under this, but I can just check how many bursaries we've had under this particular one. In terms of LED, there was a school that was in tatters, and one of the first things that we wanted to achieve was to rehabilitate the school, but upon inspection, we saw that it was actually useless to rehabilitate the school, and it had to be demolished and completely rebuilt. We've done that at the cost of just under 5 million rand, and we've handed that school over to the Department of Education. So it was also closed out. There's going to be quite a few pictures, and I'm not going to dwell on any of them. I'm just going to move through. These are just pictures of the school that we had built. So this project, as I say, was completed and closed out. The other LED project that we are extremely proud of is supplying water to the local communities. We've engaged a company to drill water. We have laid down the pipes, built reservoirs, and today we supply about 6,000 homes with potable water fit for human consumption. And this, in fact, was nominated for an award a few years ago as a mining project. Here again is just pictures that demonstrate what we had done. Also, the project was completed and closed out, but to this day we are still supplying water into those communities. And there's sign-off and approval by the local municipality on this particular project, and the handover and acceptance to the local municipality. The road upgrade project, obviously the roads into the communities are in terrible condition, particularly during adverse weather, and we have also embarked on a road upgrade program in the Mampa community. It's a constant problem, and it's something that we have also sorted out in terms of providing access to the communities. The Jibeng Hall was actually a joint venture between ourselves and the community, where we provided them with expertise, we provided them with the money, and the community themselves formed themselves into a building company, registered it properly, and we ensured that they followed the exact procedures and the standards of building a building of this nature. And again, I can proudly present to you what the building looks like. It is really a testament to what we've done in this community. Prior to this, the Gogos had to sit outside when they collected their pension in the sun the whole day. Now they have I think there's some pictures here that shows the size of the community hall. People have presentation, they have a facility that they can use in this community, which before they did not have. And this is also, again, pictures of the handover of the community hall. So once again, the project was completed and handed over. We did a mobile clinic project as well. Again, here people on the RZ37 sat outside when the mobile clinic came around. So the mobile clinic calling it the mobile clinic is perhaps a misnomer, in that we didn't provide a mobile clinic, but we provided a structure to house the patients and the community when the mobile clinic came around. And that's what we built for them, to give doctors and nurses access to patients in a dignified manner. Again, this was a celebrated event when this was handed over. As I say, I'm not dwelling on the pictures, they are there for everybody to see. On our Social and Labour Plan 2, which started from 2019 until 2024, sadly, we only got approval on this labour plan by fourth quarter last year. So we have set ourselves a target of completing this particular section of the labour plan, or this phase, by the end of 2024. And we've already submitted Section 102 to the DMRE, requesting the extension of 6 months in order for us to complete this project. And I can say that we have completed about 80% of this project so far. There's the detail of the LED projects in SLP2, which I'm not going to go through. It's a road upgrade. There's also the renovation of the school in Chipeng, amongst others. So as I said, we've done the Section 2 application. It's been submitted. I said we're 80% complete. We're about 90% complete with SLP2. We're just waiting now. We've had engagements with the Vetakoma local municipality. We've had our first session. We're just going to do our second session, and hopefully by the end of August we would have engaged with the Department of Education so that we can also build the school in the Chipeng community and complete that project for us. SLP3 is supposed to start from July 2024 for a 5-year period. We have engaged the municipality in terms of their IDP priorities. We've consulted with Stats SA in doing a need survey for the community to see what is needed. We've had consultations with the communities. 3 or 4 have been completed. The final one is scheduled for the end of August. However, we have a problem, and this is something which is common within the mining community. Illegal mining is a problem. Let me park that. Factionalism within communities is rife. And I think it came through very clearly yesterday with even the presentation by Sir Mankor, and he called it something else. It is factionalism. Our 3 host communities had been arranged into a trust, and those 3 trusts are shareholders in the mine. So we engage primarily with those trustees that had been appointed by the community. And other traditional leaders within the communities feel that we didn't engage them. So we said, fine, we will now form a community engagement forum which will involve all traditional leaders and the entire community. But because of the factionalism, that's a tongue twister, the factionalism that exists within the community, because tribal leader A is now invited, tribal leader B will not come and decides he doesn't want to be part of the engagement forum. So this is the challenge that we have in getting everybody around the table. I'm not going to mention names. Traditional leader A thinks that traditional leader B is getting a stipend on a monthly basis from Sefateng. And why am I not getting it? It's all anecdotal, and it's all because of sadly, money as well. They suspect that there's money flowing, and it's not. The money that we pay gets paid into the trust bank account. That's where the money goes. I don't, as Sefateng, I don't police how that money is disbursed that goes into the bank account. I get demands of, let me see the bank statement of Trust A. I don't have access to it. And then that becomes a complaint. But let me not dwell on that. It is a serious issue that we face. SLP3, the draft submission will be submitted to the DMRE within the next 3 to 4 months. I have spoken about the Community Engagement Forum. That is what CEF stands for. And I need to say that this is actually in the courts at the moment. It's being litigated. So therefore, I don't want to talk too much about it. Let the courts handle it, and then we will revisit the Community Engagement Forum issue. It's a pity that we have our picture there disturbed. Marketing people talk about the 4 Ps of marketing. And for those who are lawyers in the room, the 4 Ps of marketing essentially are product, price, place, etc. And I've introduced this concept into Sefateng, the 4 Ps of Sefateng. And the 4 Ps are people. And we're saying that our people that work for us are the most important people. We are edging towards 10 million fatal-free man hours. That is how concerned we are. Underground mine that we have breakaway areas that in the event of an unlikely rockfall, our employees have a safe area where we can provide them with water, food, however long it needs to get to them. We are extremely proud of our safety, first of all. Number 2, the community in which we operate. They come first. We have an obligation to our community and we have an obligation to government. That is why people are so important to us. One of the other Ps is profit, but none of the 4 Ps that I'm going to talk about is more important than the other one. They are all of equal importance. Another one that is very important for us is planet. We want to reduce our carbon footprint as a mine. We are looking at sustainable energy alternatives. Our environment, the rehabilitation, these are important aspects for us. We know that this mine has a life of 20 years. One of the things that I am looking at right now is to start a nursery amongst the community of growing indigenous flora, indigenous flora of the area, so that when we complete our mining activities in 20 years' time, we have access to indigenous flora to replant the areas that had been devastated by the mining. So those are the things, the forward thinking that we have as a mine. Dust suppression is very important, and water usage wherever we can within the mining sector. We are looking at using grey water. Partnerships are more than important. Partnerships with communities. What we've done, for example, amongst the community to address some of the illegal mining issues is that we formed the 3 host communities into a company called Pajima. We then gave them authority to mine areas of our mining rights area that we were not intending to mine, on the condition that there was going to be skills transfer and that the 4.1 appointment is a Sefateng responsibility. So Sefateng manages Pajima from the perspective, from a regulatory and a safety perspective, and they are actually mining areas of a mining rights area for their own benefit. So that's one of the partnerships that we have formed. I need to form partnerships with parts of government as well to ensure sustainability when we walk away from a project, that the project will continue to live into the life of all the community members there. We have a common goal, and that is to see the improvement of our local communities as well. I said one of the P's is profit. Yes, that is important. But the other 3 P's are equally important. I have developed a mantra for myself, which I'm trying to get through Sefateng, and it's been accepted extremely well. And that is, do well as a company whilst doing good for others. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Gerard. I got that one correct. Chairperson, over to you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I will then start with the Senior Legal Officer, move to the Provincial Manager, then lastly I will ask a set of questions, then you will be given an opportunity to respond. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. CEO, I just want to direct my line of questioning first on the second SLP. We know the cycle was to run from 2019 to 2024. I want to know, the approval was done in 2023, late in 2023. Why was it approved late? The reasons there, the role or what was done by the mine and also what was done by the MRE, if you can just outline that, because I'm looking and I'm also reflecting on what you just submitted now for the SLP 3. You're supposed to submit it in the next few months, and we still have other projects which are on SLP 2 that justifiably cannot be done, cannot be said to have been done because it was approved late. That's the first question. And then the issue of dust suppression measurements that you have. I am privy to the conditions of the roads there. I'm happy that you also considered the fact that the roads are not really that great. I was there personally, went to an extent of driving behind one of the trucks. You can see that the roads really are an issue. There was a talk or a submission by one of the complainants to say, why can't the mine consider just doing tar, considering the fact that that area in general, you don't really see rain that often. So we're gonna keep seeing dust. There will be dust suppression done in the form of using maybe water, but we know that's gonna evaporate. I'm not really a scientist, but I know that's gonna evaporate quickly. So what can be said from the mine to say this is a more permanent solution that the mine is looking into? There was also an indication from one of the complainants that the occupation of the mine took some of the plowing fields and the grazing fields for the animals or the livestock they have. I want to hear from the mine what has been done by the mine as a measure of restorative justice to those people who are affected by that aspect. I'll pause here for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I just want to find out, you allege that factionalism is a problem in the area. I want to understand, is it factionalism amongst the community members, or is it factionalism or is it a division amongst community members? Because our experience is that divisions among the community members cannot only be attributed to community members themselves. Sometimes the traditional leaders and the mine contribute to those divisions, where you find that people end up killing each other, fighting each other. So what is the main cause? Have you ever tried to dig a little bit deeper to check what are the cause of these divisions or factionalism? You also you also allege that the conflict between the traditional leaders sometimes caused by allegations that the mine is paying the other one, or there is this one that is being paid or receiving something from the mine. Can you confirm if you are not giving anything to any traditional leader, and you are only paying the money to the trust as you allege? So can you also indicate to us that as whether you are the traditional leader that you are working with, not the one that you are paying, or if you are paying indeed, but the one that you are working with at the mine, is the one recognized by Cox? Yeah. Can you just confirm that? You just mentioned that you pay the money to the trust. The money goes to the trust bank account. Can you indicate to us who are the trustees and who have access to that money? Who monitor the usage of that money? Because if you are doing your part in terms of contributing to the community through the trust bank, through paying money to the trust bank account, maybe it will be necessary for us to know if the community is benefiting from that money, and who is in control of that trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to start with the aspect that you touched on but did not expand on, the issue of the impact of illegal mining on your particular mining company. Can we just have, an expansion on that? I'll also like to jump on what my provincial manager has stated in respect of your engagement with community leaders, as well as this division that you speak to, and you said due to litigation between community divisions. I understand that that particular area is under a traditional leader. In respect of that, have you engaged with those traditional leaders? And if there are difficulties, and it's something that I put to the House of Traditional Leaders, do you think that other stakeholders can play a primary role in supporting mining companies engage with the relevant stakeholders? I think this would then also ensure that you're not just moving from pillar to post and having difficulties in community engagements, where you have highlighted that when you invite leader A, leader B does not want to come to the table and have those discussions. I note that you said that you are still waiting for the approval from DMRE. And again, I'm going to go and ask you this question, something that I've asked them about the human capital. Do you think that they have the necessary human capital to offer and fulfill their mandate in respect of mining companies? We heard yesterday, on Tuesday, from a member from the community around there in respect of the mining company, stating a number of complaints that he noted in respect of your mining activities, and one of them is the dust. What type of complaints have you received? And you said that you have an intensive process of receiving complaints. And I'm going to ask the same of you that I've asked of Samanko, is that if you're willing to share that information, please share it with us. Furthermore, on top of that, in respect of the illegal mining, have you also opened cases? And if you have, please share that information with the Commission. so that we can monitor that aspect and have a clear picture of the impact of legal mining in its totality into the mining industry in the Limpopo province. In respect of the community trusts and how they are managed, if it was possible, how would you, as a solution, because there is this misperception or perception, I'm not sure if it's a misperception, or there are these allegations that the mining companies are funding particular groups to continue with litigation and division so that they can operate unaccounted for. If you were to provide a solution, and you may not have one, but I'm just saying if you do have a solution to alleviate those misperceptions about how mining companies operate within their communities regarding community trust, how would you then propose community trust to be managed? Those are my questions at this particular moment. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first question was around the late approval of SLP2, which was supposed to be over 2019 to 2024. The DMRE would not sign off on our SLP2 program until the Fetakgoma local municipality had signed off on it as well. We struggled for months to get access to the municipal manager who was responsible to, or the person to sign it off. That did not happen. At one stage, I even tried to engage the mayor to get the responsible person to sign off on it. I'm not going to talk about the reasons why. Suffice to say that that person whom I perceive to be an obstacle has since been removed and replaced by someone else. I hope it answers your question, legal counsel. Dust suppression, tarring of roads. I used to be in the oil company business, and 20 years ago when I was in the oil company business, we used to supply bitumen to companies who tarred roads. 20 years ago, 1 kilometer cost close to 1.5 to 2 million rand to tar. 1 kilometer of road. That was the average that you worked on. So what I'm trying to say, perhaps in a roundabout way, is that tarring of roads are extremely expensive. I had introduced my presentation by saying that being a greenfields operation is both a curse and a blessing, in that we didn't have a balance sheet. And we have built up a balance sheet now over the past 3 years since we've been doing underground mining. The short answer is Sevateng doesn't have the money to build a tar road. We need to, I think, as a mining company, look at alternative solutions. And I think there are technologies out there which can bind the surface of a gravel road and make it more humanly passable. And I think that's maybe something that we need to look at. But tarring of roads is going to be extremely exorbitant. It's something that we would love to do, but it's something that we just cannot afford at this stage. There was talks about the use of plowable lands and lands for grazing that was taken away. When we started, and this essentially happened at Waterkop because the area at Swartkoppies is actually freehold land where we're paying a monthly lease to the owners of that land. Waterkop is traditional land, and we engaged the local chief, and the chief, in terms of Koksta, was Chief or still is Chief Ntwampe. So we negotiate with Chief Ntwampe that we're going to need this area for mining purposes, and we negotiated a settlement, a compensation, and we paid that to Chief Ntwampe. I speak under correction, but it's around 2015, 2016. So we have paid Chief Ntwampe compensation for the land that we were going to use as part of the Waterkop mine. In addition, we have also engaged, because some of the traditional leaders said that they actually have responsibility, and this has been a long, drawn-out process. We pay them on a monthly basis. We pay them also a fee for the use of that land. That we pay them on a monthly basis. The question around factionalism and where it is centered. My sense, and please, I'm not so well versed in traditions of the local communities, but my sense is that people align themselves with either the local headman or the local chief that or tribal leader in that area. And if that particular tribal leader has an issue with another one, his followers follow suit. So I'm not going to attempt to come up with a reason for why there is factionalism. My honest opinion, I think it's a microcosm of our country, where people follow different leaders. Are we paying the traditional leaders? No, we're not. We are paying into the trusts. The only traditional leaders who actually get a reward from Sefateng, because some of them sit on our board. The three trusts had appointed each a representative to sit on the board of Sefateng. And in their capacity as directors on the board, they get a director's fee. That's the only money that we pay them. And not all of them are traditional leaders. Some of them are just representatives chosen by the community and the traditional leaders. Access of management and management of the trust bank account and the disbursements thereof. In my presentation, I said that we don't have control over it. If this commission instructs me to find that information, I will do so. I don't have access, and yeah. I will go and ask if I'm requested to do so, and get how that money gets dispersed and so forth. Illegal mining, how it has impacted us. It's cost us a lot of money. It's cost the government even more money, because government has not received their royalties. They have left devastation. It's cost me money in having to rehabilitate that. Understand that the area where we're mining is up against a mountain, which is a beautiful piece of nature, and it has been desecrated. I cannot put that in stronger terms in terms of how it's been done. It's not been done in a responsible manner. It's devastated the environment, and it's cost the company money, and it's cost government money. Some of my staff have even been threatened. Their lives have been threatened because these illegal miners have their own security, and they stand there with AK-47 rifles protecting these miners. It is bad. And I take my hat off to the intervention by the DMRE, the SAPS, and the Army. It saved lives. There even had been talks of abandoned homes in the Mampa community where they were mining, they were sinking, digging holes, sinking shafts in those homes and bringing up chrome. It's a scourge, and it's something that needs to be done constructively. Yeah, I cannot express sufficiently the damage that illegal mining has caused. And sadly, I'm of the opinion that illegal miners are being funded by big business. Because where else can those illegal miners find the money to buy a front-end loader, a ripper, big yellow equipment that is used in the mining, in mining production? Where do they get the money from? They somehow are funded by delinquents out in the marketplace. That is my view. I may be wrong, but that is my view. It makes sense to me that that is the case. The next question was around traditional leaders and how other stakeholders can assist. I think Coxter can do a heck of a lot more to help us, to the extent that I took Dr. lady that was here yesterday, I took her number and said, please, I'm going to phone you. I need you to assist me. I took a telephone number and an email address. The traditional house, I think, can also pacify some of the discord that exists between traditional leaders. Can go a long way to doing that. Let's all work towards the common cause. That, I think, is important. The question around human capital of the DMRE, the regional manager of the DMRE is sitting in the room. I'm sure he's going to say to you, you can do with a hell of a lot more hands. If he has to police 205 mines in the area with the number of inspectors he has, I'm sure he will tell you that I can do it with lots more. I'm not saying he's not doing it, but I'm saying he probably can do with more hands. And it's not my place to talk about it. We will certainly share our complaints register with you. A report of illegal mining. I just made a note here. Did you get a detailed that question? Let's see. Report of illegal mining. Oh, have we opened any cases? My security manager resigned. He's an ex-rugby player who stood about 6'7" tall, who tried to intervene with the illegal miners. They beat the crap out of him. 6'7", he was probably 6'7" wide as well. Went to the local police station to go lay a case against these miners. He was arrested and put in a cell for 2 days, and we had to get a lawyer to get him out of jail. I have not made a case against any illegal miner for fear of life. What we have done is reported to the DMRE. We have engaged the SAPS, and we have engaged the Hawks. One night at 10 o'clock, I sat on a phone call, a conference call, with the Deputy Commissioner of Police, the MEC for Safety and Security in Limpopo, and the Police Commissioner of Limpopo, decrying my frustration with illegal mining. And I promise you that within 2 days, we saw some action. Up until then, nothing had happened. So that was the level of engagement that we had to go through. Yes, that's all I'm going to say around that. A solution around the trusts. My belief had always been that the trust or the trustees had been elected democratically and that they were a full representation of the community. Now there are community members who deny that. All I can say is that I was under the impression that it was a democratic process that happened, but even Donald Trump said that there wasn't a democratic election in the US. So I can well expect that people are going to say that those elections were not held democratically. But yeah. Madam Chair, I hope I've answered some of your questions to your satisfaction.
In respect of illegal mining, and I know because it's a very sensitive topic, and how you have also noted that in respect of, especially with your mine, that it has amounted to a threat of lives. I do not want us to then, especially on a public platform such as this, then expand on that. Can we then have your written submissions, just for you to elaborate a little bit more, sometimes because we then submit our reports to Parliament and get to engage directly with the President and ministers in respect of these issues. Perhaps collectively we can assist the, deal with and curb the issue of illegal mining, because as you said, it affects a lot of people. It affects government, it affects the people on the ground, it also affects the mining companies themselves. So I think perhaps just so that we have a clearer picture of how it's affected particularly your mining company, can you just give us those written submissions? In respect of the trustees, are there any representatives from the mining company that are sitting on that community trust? Do we have representatives from the mining company that actually monitor that part? It's one of the issues that we have seen is the issue of training and providing those who sit at the helm of community trusts with the necessary information that those monies do not necessarily belong to them, but belong to the community. Lastly, do you verify the people that you engage with, especially when you're saying that there's factionalism in the communities that you operate in? And you've touched base that you would wish, you want Coxter to assist as well as the House of Traditional Leaders in that aspect, so that you're not found wanting as a mining company. But outside that, do you as a mining company, go an additional step in respect of due diligence, that we indeed are speaking to the right people, and so that we don't have an issue of confusion and further litigation? I sometimes think that in respect of mining communities, litigation starts from the aspect that one traditional leader feels that they're not respected in that process, and wants the court to then intervene and allow them to be recognized so that they can engage with mining companies. Because the stance from mining companies is that we only engage with those that are legally recognized, and often, as we said I think we spoke to the House of Traditional Leaders and Coxter, the difficulty that arises when there is litigation. And I said, what happens when litigation is taking 10 years, 20 years, and the mining company is in the middle? And the solution was that they would work on something. But in the interim, what are mining companies to verify that process? But also, how difficult is it to engage in those communities as mining companies? Thank you very much.
Mine is with regard to the request that you have made to regarding the signing of SLP. The of Fitaho Tuvatse municipality. You said you have been requesting for month and month. I don't know how long it took, but You can just alert us that you finalize your part on this particular month, but you are still waiting. We have been making requests. Can you submit can you tell us what was the nature of the request? Was that in the form of just a telephone call, or was it in writing? Because to me, this is very important, because if we find government institution delaying the signing of the SLP, that we all know that the SLP benefit the community, to me it's a very serious matter. It's concerning, because if the mine is saying, here we are, this is the social and labor plan, can you assess, can you do your part? You rather engage if they have some concern than just to doing the right thing so that our people can benefit out of the mine. So can you just tell us maybe whether you have done it in writing? If you have done it in writing, then you will request the copies of your communique to the municipality or to the MM. You have indicated that your view, this is your view. And when you say this is my view, you will all note that this is not something that has been researched. It's just a view from your observation of the situation. You are saying that this illegal mining might be funded by big companies, of which I think, looking at the equipment that has been confiscated, we've seen that on TV, we've seen that, we've heard about that in the radio. I might be sharing the same view with you. But there is universal vendor that presented on day one that the illegal mining is caused by poverty. So this is from your observation, you are saying that this might be funded by rich people. But on the other side, the institution of higher learning is saying poverty might be the cause of this illegal mining. What is your, can you comment on that? Yeah, I think I will end there. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you very much. Maybe just to now draw you to the testimony you gave earlier on bursaries. You said it boldly to say the mine is offering granting bursaries. I don't know if you are in a position where you can further disclose the criteria, because there was a submission to say learners do not get bursaries from the mine. And maybe just extend in your inputs or response on whether the mine is also offering training to local people who might be unskilled, and whether after the trainings these locals are also then considered for employment. Just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and the panel. The first note I made here is written submission of illegal mining, which is something I will do. Members on trust? No. The answer is no. Nobody from Sefateng sits on these respective trusts. I made a note here and said CEF, Community Engagement Forum. We were actually in court around engaging traditional leaders. And we were advised to go to arbitration and come up with a solution, which is what we did. And in our arbitration, we said, we will include every leader within the community, whether recognized by Coxter and government or not, we will engage them. Needless to say, that when we made this known to everybody, there was an outcry. How can we do that? For me, it was an excuse. I could say, I'm now under instruction of the courts. And that arbitration notice was supposed to be made an order of the court. To this day, it's not been done yet. But we, in good faith, engaged everybody, with the result that one of the traditional leaders appeared at our gates one day with the police in tow to say we have not engaged him and there is a court order and that we need to be arrested. And this is the litigation that I have alluded to, which is currently in the court, because he overstepped his bounds big time. And this is in the courts at the moment around traditional leaders and engagement of them and this whole community engagement forum. It's something that we want, because I accept that we cannot satisfy all the people all the time, but we can go a long way to satisfying most of them, and we can only do that if we are inclusive all the time. And that's the ideal that I want for Sefateng Crow Mine. The signing of the SLP, signed off by the municipality. I'm going to request that we've engaged them in writing, be it via email, letters, telephones. We will share some of the written communication with the Commission. The PM asked a question around illegal mining and the fact that poverty is driving illegal mining. I would say that poverty is the catalyst, not the cause. People with money exploit these poor people in order to engage in illegal mining. It is a catalyst, it's not the cause. They have absolute disregard for the people who work for them. I have been told that in the area in Waterkop, where there was illegal mining, there are 6 bodies hidden underground. Bodies of people who died, and they just walk away. They walk away from it. It is sad. I say it again. Illegal mining is a scourge which needs to be nipped in the bud. We cannot afford to let it continue. Total disregard for human beings. Total disregard for the rules and regulations of this country and the laws thereof. Human life means nothing. It's all about the money. And please understand, those illegal miners working there underground, digging away, they do not make money. They get paid a pittance. It's those sitting at the top who sells the chrome, who engages with big business to buy that chrome, who make the money, not those people underground. Those people barely have decent clothing on their backs. I cannot emphasize the destruction of illegal mining enough. And I have a habit of talking too much, so I'm going to stop talking now. Bursaries, the senior legal counsel has asked about bursaries. I will give a detailed report on the bursaries that we had awarded. I'm just going to use one example of that I'm very proud of. There was a young lady whom we awarded a bursary to do electrical engineering. We then employed her on a learnership after she completed her degree. Today, she is our underground electrical engineer at the mine. I get goosebumps when I think about the good that we have done. I'm proud to say that we have done that, and we endeavor to do that more and more. I will certainly give you a list of the bursaries that we had dispensed.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And we, as the panel, we are satisfied with the answers, but I think if you have any closing remarks that you'd like to make, if you do not have any, so you're duly excused. I'd also like to acknowledge your presence, that it's impressive that a CEO of an entire company is sitting here and answering questions and engaging with the Human Rights Commission. We note that, and we note that you've been here since Tuesday, and we appreciate your presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair and panel. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair and the panel. I don't have anything to add except my mantra. Let's do well whilst doing good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, and thank you, Chairperson. May I kindly check with you if I can call to the podium Dr. Nombasa Tsengwa, the CEO ya Exxaro Coal Mine.
You may proceed.
Thank you so much. Dr. Nombasa Tsengwa, the CEO of the Exxaro Coal Mine, kindly come to the podium.
Good morning, sir. The Human Rights Commission has received written submissions from your CEO about his unavailability today, and that he has duly mandated yourself to represent him. Just for record purposes, can you just briefly introduce yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Mongezi Veti, Chief Sustainable Impact Officer, a member of the executive team in Exxaro, been in this position for the last 14 years, and unfortunately, as you have stated, our CEO is in London, in the London mining endeavor, hence I am here today. Thank you.
So will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
Yes, Madam Chair. And oath.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give, to the best of your knowledge and belief, is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Madam.
Do you have any objection in taking the prescribed oath?
No.
Do you consider the prescribed oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
So the podium is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Perhaps as the prelude, Madam Chair, to the presentation that I'm going to make today, giving context what Exxaro is and what it is all about. Exxaro prides itself of being a champion of BEE in the mining sector in South Africa, one of the first black-owned and managed companies back in the days of meaningful contribution of black people in the mining sector in the country. So our operations span across the length and breadth of the country. We are in KwaZulu-Natal, we are in the Eastern Cape, we are in Mpumalanga, we are in Limpopo, the province where we are right now. So most of what I'm going to do or to say today is an operating philosophy of the organization that cuts across all those provinces where we work. And with Exaro, we have a purpose of powering better lives in Africa and beyond. And in that, there is a basic respect of human rights. And the presentation would definitely testify and also take us back to what we have done for society. My presentation will cover Exaro's commitment, human rights, Exaro's social impact, Exaro's performance on transformation, triple BEE, and I'll dwell a bit about what is our performance in that regard compared to everybody else in the mining sector, social and labor plans update. Just on the first one, on the commitments that we have made, on those principles that are laid out there in terms of the Constitution, United Nations guiding principles, ILO's declaration, and even OECD guidelines have actually been taken into account when we developed our policy on human rights. And I'm also proud to state that we are one of the organizations in South Africa that are measured in the Russell 2000, which is an international protocol that measures companies in terms of compliance to how do they relate to society, communities in the areas where they operate. So we respect the constitution and legislation of the country, United Nations principles, and business and on human rights. And the Declaration on Fundamental Rights unreservedly supports the OECD guidelines. And then on the right-hand side is basically our commitments on those principles, which I will not necessarily go through. Coming close to what we are talking about today, social investments, which we consider as our own meaningful impact that we do to communities in the areas where we operate in the province. I also want to mention that you will observe that or notice that our presentation would dwell much on Lipalale, which is pertaining to our own Grootegeluk mine in the area, and all our projects that we have undertaken in the past, now, and in the future. And also in this district of Vembe in Chikondeni, just north of Polokwane. We have been there. The mine is closed in 2014, but we have not left the area. We still do some incredible amount of work of changing lives in the area. The slide that is on gives us the sense of our expenditure during that time horizon, 2022 up to date, a social impact of 4.6 billion rand that Exaro has actually spent, and also then divided amongst those aspects as indicated on the slide, being local procurement, 3.3 billion rand. We also have what is called enterprise and supplier development that we conduct in the organization to an amount of 350 million rand, social and labor plans, 103 million rand, which is 0.1 billion. Donations that we make, 329 million rand, and also what we do for human development. Just to touch on triple BEE, which is a point I have made earlier on, and we all know that we all get rated as to level 1 up to 8 or 9. But Exaro has targeted itself to do a level 3, to be a level 3. And on the slide, as you can see, we have consistently stayed and achieved a level 2 against an average of 5 with all our peers in the country. And we pride ourselves for that achievement because we believe that we are excellent and we consider ourselves as the flagship of BE in South Africa. And I also want to add that if one considers the elements of triple BE scorecard, there is a strong emphasis on what each and every company is doing for community. So we spend quite reasonable amounts of money into the communities, developing them in the form of SMEs, small and medium enterprise businesses, so that they can contribute meaningfully in the economy of the country. And we have done that successfully. And we do know that we can't be a solution to everybody, but we can do what is humanly possible. Then on social and labor plan in the Lephalale municipality, number 1 being a Grootegeluk mine, which is our flagship actually, the biggest operation that we have in the portfolio of our own mining. And then we indicate that there is a cycle of a social and labor plan which started in 2018 as indicated and approved in 2019. And 2023 to 2027 awaiting approval. And I do know that here in the House we do have the regional manager in that regard. We have this what I call setback of having the delay in terms of approving of these social and labor plans to a point where you by the time you start, you have got a year that has lapsed, and it puts an enormous stress in the system because in what we do, we want to localize the expenditure into the areas where we operate. And you go through a lengthy process of selection because the tendency is that you'll find that the businesses in those areas aren't fully developed, so you need an intentional intervention. In our space, then we also use what we call incubation centers, which also accelerate the skills of these individuals, which then, if there are delays, like we have indicated, they also impact into the overall performance. We also have a Thabamezi greenfield operation with its own mine rights not far from Grootegeluk. We continue. We haven't started mining there, But in terms of social and labor plans, we are continuing with that. And also in Chikondeni, in the municipality that I've mentioned earlier on, Tulamela, the local municipality, and those are time horizons of the social and labor plans as indicated. But also the same challenge we had at Grootegeluk also exists there. So in the presentation, we will later then show the progress of what we have executed on the ground in terms of impacting the lives of the people. And the second phase of the presentation, we look at the human resource development, what we do in terms of buses, training, skills, etc. And then we'll also talk about the mine community development, procurement or preferential procurement, which speaks to the concept of advancing the interests of the local communities. But what I need to add there is what we have recently introduced as called MSP project, which I think it is just it would be a disservice if I don't mention here, which is mineral succession planning, which simply means that beyond this mine, what will be the economic livelihood that is left in this area. In terms of human resources development, we have a slide that reflects the learnership skills and programs. Under the descriptions, we talk about the engineering learnerships and skills programs, plant skills, program blasting, competent A in terms of the skills program, and even as far as the safety, health, and safety reps, who are actually in the later stage tend to be safety officers and even chief safety officers. So with respect to the performance on our targets, as you can see on the right-hand side, we all green in terms of the targets on the left-hand side, in terms of hitting the numbers that we've put for ourselves in that regard. And then the next one, didn't I skip? Okay, yeah. Then with regard to buses, we gave ourselves a target of 14, and we achieved 8. And some of the challenges in that area, because for this program was localized in the areas where we operate in the province. Sometimes that it comes as a result of the performance in the metric certificates. And we did 8 out of 14 for the period under review, which then made us to even look at the programs to support the schooling projects. So there's also now a school program that seeks to pick up the learners from standard. I will use standard. I'm exposing my age now here. I will use standard 8 up to metric, and then because we believe that those are standard 8 would be a solid foundation for greater performance, and we plow financial resources in that regard. Some of the children in the local areas in Grootegeluk are now studying in the Kuro institutions or schools, even here in Polokwane, as a result of this project that we're talking about, so that we get big numbers up and turn around young people around the areas where we operate that can be managers and also scientists in the areas where we operate. We've done the surveying number that we gave, and then LLM, mayoral 5, and then the TVET, we did those numbers without any challenge. With regard to the internship, you'll see the list there that it talks to core of our own business, but the intention is actually to get to capture the learners in the areas where we operate. Here we're talking about the mining discipline, engineering, metallurgical / plant, if that one, and also the business improvement process, supply chain, HR, and all that. Those are numbers that we've put through the system of providing internship in the face of high unemployment, not only in the province but throughout the country. But then we think that it is important for us to make sure that we avert the ills of unemployment by creating these opportunities for our young people. Community mind development. In Grootegele, GGC means Grootegele Complex. We're looking at the time horizon of 2018 to 2022, social and labor plans in the area. The projects that we have put in place in that time horizon is refreshment of Marapong bulk water pipeline, which has been completed, building of Nelson's Cop School, hall, and 4 classroom, which has been completed. We just missed the opportunity of showing you the photograph to the testimony of the fact that I think about 2 months ago, we were in Lephalale with the mayor and the district mayor of the area on a launch of those projects that we've just completed. Water management facility is part of those that are already completed as well. The enterprise and supplier development program, which talks to what I have just mentioned earlier on, of developing small, medium, micro, medium enterprises in the area. We have realized that because we cannot absorb everybody or young people as they get out of matric because of the limited positions that any other business would have. But it is prudent and upon us to make sure that those who are interested in developing their own business or entrepreneurial skills, then we offer them opportunities. So we've got incubation centers all across that are developing people in the areas where we operate. And this is what is happening on the ground as I speak, and we are improving those areas. Upgrade sports precinct, 2025, multi-purpose community center, 2025. So, Madam Chair, we just chose that time horizon of 2018 and 2020. In the province, or in Lephalale, we have done this multi-purpose center before that time. We do have them here and in Chikondeni and early childhood development centers, which is the gap that we have just identified. That if you want to make a meaningful impact to young people for their future development, start very early. And in the strategy of social impact in the organization, we have now transitioned into putting up all these centers of ECDs, which seeks to develop people, especially those who are coming from underdeveloped or from the poor background, who would otherwise not have an opportunity to have even a decent toy. So we've got these mobile technologically savvy toys that we take them to communities and put the young people together for a day and give them access to these toys that we think that would stimulate their thinking up the career as they grow up and give them better opportunities to grasp the engineering concepts like any other kid who is growing up in a high income household, for instance. And then with regard to projects that are awaiting the DMRE approval, we got a list of them there: school and community, digital infrastructure, personal protective equipment, manufacturing facility, which is another issue we thought that we need to create what one would call something very innovative, creating a personal protective equipment manufacturing facility. We think it is essential because this is a consumable item that currently we're buying it from Johannesburg. And it is our belief that at least if we can have that facility, because we see, in fact, from our own history, we know that we consume quite a lot of that material, and it can make a thriving business. Hence, it has been put on the mine development community, which then will be given to communities. And obviously, the communities will organize themselves, will bid for it, and the best team will take the opportunity. Community health system is also amongst the list. Hasilika water supply is also amongst the list of those that needs to be provided for in the area. With respect to Tabametsi, we've got Palsua project, which is also a subject of this delay. Hopefully, we hope that we're gonna get approval soon, so that then the execution of the project can get off ground. Further up in the Chikondeni area, and the time horizon I'm looking at here is 2013 to 2017. As I said, the mine was closing we closed in 2014. So it was the time when the mine was being closed. As you can see over there, that we had an early childhood development center that we built then, completed 56 houses, community halls, and potable water reticulation. But I can also state that right now, there is, around the MSP project, in that area, there is a project that, or a financial provision towards a project that I personally have approved to an amount of about 6 million rand, Tebogo, if I'm not mistaken, towards a boreholing, because we've realized that the water in that area for agricultural purposes is something very, very essential. And that water will help to boost the yields of the crops. They are putting up tomatoes, which are sold to tiger brands, competing with the likes of ZZ2 from this area. So we built those SMEs in that area, and they are actually doing pretty well. And this one is an irrigation infrastructure for 8 developing farmers, which is actually it also talks to the project that I've just mentioned. And these 8 farmers are actually supplying Tiger Woods for their product. With respect to procurement, in this regard, we got actuals and targets year on year up to 2023. You'll see that in the year prior to 2023, there are isolated period where we didn't make our targets, but in 2023, all is green. This is the area that talks about BE performance, women-owned and youth, BE mining services, opportunities that we give basically to those categories of our own society. And we have this particular bias of making sure that women and youth are at the center of our strategy. With respect to local contractors in the areas in terms of values, as you can see, the numbers on the top one, the value of contracts awarded to local vendors for 405 million rand, 56 million, and 232 in 2023. And it builds up, and it actually moves up and down depending on what is the environment around our own businesses. In the year when we hit high prices, then we tend to follow that with respect to our expenditures in the local areas. And as you can see, green, we always use it as a gesture that says we have attained what we originally intended to. Just as I conclude, let me go back to the MSP that I said I need just to substantiate. We've realized that mining in itself is a finite business. So it has got a start and an end. Whether that is in 10 years, 30, 60, or whatever, but at some point they will not be Grootegeluk. Even it could be beyond our lives as collective in this room because of the resources we have. But the question we're asking ourselves, what will be the life of the people in Lephalale at that stage? And decided then to leverage on the land of Exxaro that we have, so that we give opportunities to local communities and develop them to own pieces of land, which we support them financially to build businesses that will be sustained into the future. We have a service provider that is linked to Tiger brand as an off-taker of all the products that will be coming from these agricultural or agriculture businesses. so that then you create markets and opportunities for them to be able to sustain the business. And that is purely on the basis of the fact that we think that if you strengthen those business skills whilst the mine is still operating, you have more likelihood of leaving the area that will be economically active even after the mine has ceased to exist. And the 8 farmers that I referred to in the Chikondeni areas are testimony to that. So I would like to end my presentation, Madam Chair, with that statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Chairperson, you can take over with questions.
Thank you very much for that presentation. As per the usual protocol, we'll start with the Senior Legal Officer, Provincial Manager, then myself, then you'll be given an opportunity to answer.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm going to pose questions in line with the SLPs, right? I'm happy that you didn't limit yourself to the mining operations in Lephalale. You also went outside that municipal jurisdiction. But I will limit myself to Lephalale because we also got testimony from the municipality as well. Your representative was here. I'm pretty sure you are also aware of what they said. When we look at Tawameti, you submitted that currently it's not operating, right? But you did confirm that there is a SLP. I'll pinpoint the first cycle's SLP, which runs 2017 to 2021, right? Initially, when that SLP was then signed off, it is my understanding that there were 3 projects that the mine had committed to undertake. Then the mine did a Section 102 application to have it reduced into 1 project, which is the power, sewage, and collection system. There was phase 1, which was then said to be underway. But when I get the submissions from today and also tallying it with the municipality, that still has not been implemented. We are in 2024 now. That cycle ran until 2021. And the department, DMRE, has issued the mine with the Section 29 notice. I want to hear the mine's response in what is causing the delays in the implementation of that on that aspect. Keeping in mind that you did submit that the mine is not operating, and also further indicated that there is a mine in Vembe that is not operating, but there are projects that are being implemented. So that is the first aspect. I also want to touch base with the submissions from the municipality relating to mining activities which are proposed to occur in between the 2 human settlements in Lephalale. I'm not entirely sure if you are aware as to this, where these 2 human settlements are, but there was a submission wherein the municipality said they are not agreeing to that. I just want to know how far the discussions went with regard to that, and just elaborate even more as to what consultations have taken place in respect of that, if you are aware of that. Then I'll just move forward to Grootegeluk coal mine. The mine has its first cycle, which ran 2013 to 2017. And the report, even confirmed by DMR, is that the projects were completed. My challenge comes with the second cycle. I want you to elaborate a bit more, because when we got the testimony from the municipal, some of the projects are interlinked with the municipality's IDP. How is the non-implementation affecting, in your perspective as the mine, affecting the community members? Because if there are two role players and all of them in what they're supposed to do or what they've committed to do, they are not doing that. How is that affecting the community in your perspective? As the commission will have our own take and make on it. But I want to hear from your side. We got from the municipality side the non-implementation of these projects, the effects. I want to hear from the mine side. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'm just interested to the issue of the social and labor plan, that you have indicated that there is a delay, waiting DMR for approval. I just want to understand, maybe you can share with us if the municipality have done its part, they've approved everything, and what did you do when the DMR is not approving? Because if I look at the project that you have mentioned under that mining community development update, those projects, I believe that they can benefit the community. And just clarity, your presentation includes all these areas where you are mining. But we are interested on the Palale, because some of the projects that we are talking about, like community health care system improvement, we don't know where you are going to do it, which community is going to benefit out of this. It is a challenge to us even to monitor after that, after this inquiry. I think what you need to note is that our inquiry is not limited just to, it's not a talk show. We are going to monitor this. If it need be, we'll have to conduct inspection in local. So we need to know, if you are talking about community health care system improvement, just an open-ended statement, where, when. Then even if you are saying that you are waiting for the DMR to approve for which community? Even if we can say, DMR, why are you not approving this? We should know that, okay, in this community that you want to run this project, what the impact of health access of the impact of the right to access health care is like this. We must have a picture, because we visit all the communities. So if you don't say anything, come 10 years down the line, even if you have not done it, we can't even monitor that. So to be specific, so that if you are saying you're going to do it, you wanted to do it, maybe you wanted to start with the project and you are delayed by the DMR, we can follow up with the DMR all the time. Have you approved that? You might find that you are not giving the full details in terms of why the DMR is not approving this. Because I don't believe that DMR can just sit with the document and without approving, knowing that it's going to benefit the community. So I think we need more details. If you have complied with everything, tell us that we've done everything and there's no query from DMR. Another issue is the issue of housing. You indicated that you have built 56 housing. Where are those houses? we want to know where the houses are so that we can conduct monitoring if it need be and see those houses. Then this LLM mayoral, what is this all about? We have the bursary program. LLM mayoral, I don't understand. Maybe I can just assume the TVET and surveying engineering. I believe that these are the students who have been funded to attend the TVET college, 50 of them. The engineering, what confused me more here is that I believe TVET, you are referring to colleges. We have TVET colleges, unless otherwise it means something else here. But in the same column that you said is a description, you said engineering. Engineering can also be done in TVET colleges. Surveying can also be done in TVET colleges. So when they are in the same column, we don't know what is this all about. And maybe if you can give us clarity, because I didn't get, I was listening, I didn't get clarity regarding this, because we need to know what is mayoral. Is it a qualification? But I understand engineering can be a qualification, surveying can be a qualification, but TVET, I don't think is a qualification. So maybe you can assist with that. Yes, maybe I would like to know which projects are for this particular area. If you have mentioned 3 areas where you are mining, Chikondeni, Lephalale, and Itabamezi, I think so. So those projects, this contribution, we need to know how many, if you have given student bursaries, we want to know how many from Lephalale or Marapon have benefited out of this number. Because what about if you find all of them were given to people around Chikondeni there or to other areas without anything on the other side? So I think that goes with the distribution of those bursaries to make sure that you cover all the areas. But can you clarify that for us? So I think for now, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think you were present, or you had a representative present when we spoke to the Lephalale municipality, given how when they made their presentation, it appeared that your relationship with Lephalale municipality made it very difficult for members of the public to then lodge complaints effectively regarding the mining activities in that area. And when you're touching base on that, can you also then, in respect of the provincial manager's response to his question, is the delay in respect of the SLPs because of the fact that you're waiting for the municipality's approval, which interlinks with the IDPs? There was mentioned by the Lephalale municipality, local municipality, that there was, and I think this was mentioned by the provincial manager, and there was a correction by the Lephalale municipality that you completed a project, handed over, and now the municipality is paying you back 100 million. It's not a loan, it was an interaction between the two. Who owns that project? Because in terms of the SLP, you would have submitted it to DMR that you have fulfilled that obligation. However, when you hand it to the municipality, there's an additional condition that the municipality needs to pay that money. Does that then become owned by the municipality under the IDP? And I think that aspect resulted, I think, in a very robust engagement between ourselves and Lephalale municipality, for us to understand where the municipality ends and where does the mining company begin in relation of the mining companies. You made mention that in the areas where the mining activities have not taken place, you are now changing lives. And I want to ask myself, how are you changing lives? Because it's such a broad statement. I note that you're highlighting the fact that you're forward thinking in respect of the protection, respect of human rights. What more have you done except make those preamble and acknowledge your interaction and of human and business rights in respect of the UN guidelines in that regard? Have you implemented them into the core business, and how is that working out for the mining company? In respect of the pictures, I think the Lephalale municipality wanted also to share the very same pictures with us, and I think that you'd be sharing the very same pictures. So I think that's where the confusion is, especially with your mining company and the relationship that was created, or the perception that was created, that there's a very intertwined relationship between yourselves and the municipality, therefore resulting in an inability for members of the community to raise complaints against your mining company. Lastly, in respect of your SLPs, do you consult members of the public directly, or are you reliant on the municipalities to give you the IDPs for you to select which projects you would then adopt as your SLPs? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will start with the first question around the Thabametsi projects dating 2017 up to 2021. In my recollection, Chair, is that the projects that have been agreed to by both DMRE and us are implemented. And the issues that we always have is the fact that some of these projects, they get approved a year after the time that they were supposed to be implemented. And then in that time horizon, they always lag a year or more. And this is not starting just in this cycle. This has been a consistent practice that has happened. So we always lag. And this issue I report to the board of Exxaro to a point where I motivated that because we have no control on the approval, our project execution from an internal perspective will start at a time when we have been, when the projects are approved, because that's where we can start doing something. So I want to repeat that all the projects that have been approved, they may be behind, but we will not leave any of those projects that have been approved and not implemented. With regard to submissions, and consultations with municipalities. We are now close, if not more than a decade, with a Lephalale Municipality Forum that we are constantly sitting and discussing the issues that are pertaining to community. In our thinking, both of us are representing communities, Exxaro and the municipality, in our attempt to make a meaningful impact in the society. And all the concerns of the communities are brought in that forum, and they get discussed, decisions are taken, and they are followed through. I am not saying at the same time that we may not agree on certain issues, but I wasn't here when the testimony was done by the municipality. as far as I can recall, is that all issues of concern are addressed in a legitimate and appropriate platform that we have established in Lipalal. There was also a statement about issues that are affecting or the delays or not implementing the projects and then leading to affecting the communities. We believe that if the projects are signed by us and the DMRE in the province, those projects cannot be ignored. We implement them as per the agreement, and that when those projects are completed, they get given to communities for benefit. So, in short, the Tabametsi projects, which is a greenfield project, no mining activities has taken place, but there is an obligation to do SLPs. Exaro spends money in terms of that agreement to honor that agreement for as long as we own the reserves in that area. And we continue to do just that, and we think that it is in line with our own operating philosophy. All right, and then the next question is about delays, approval, and share with us what did you do. A municipality was what is the municipality role? Or we agree with municipalities. We don't unilaterally agree on what will be put on SLPs. So what goes to DMRE, it comes out as a mutual agreement between us and the municipality, and that is getting sent. And I say again, I wasn't here when they presented. If they presented to the contrary, we still have a forum where that matter can be clarified if that was raised here. But as far as I can remember in my conscience, nothing gets submitted for submissions without having passed it to the forum that we have established for ourselves. And there was also a remark about the projects that may not be only covering the area at hand. Madam Chair, I can recall that my slides are saying GGC and Chikondeni at the top. I said, when I spoke on macro issues about the organization, I said, you'll notice that then from here onwards, we will be talking about GGC and Chikondeni. And all those slides are pertaining, what is in the slide or the contents of the slide is pertaining to Grootegeluk complex, as I listed there. And then when it's Chikondeni, we'll have Chikondeni as the jurisdiction, perhaps that we are looking at. With regard to health care, all I remember.
Just direct you to the slide here. The slide that I have, the page that I refer to, there's no Chikondeni and there's no that GGC thing. And also, Yeah, before you answer, can you also, we wanted to know the delay. You said you allege that DMR is the one that is delaying the approval of the SLP. So I wanted to know from you, have you submitted everything that is needed? I'm not talking about the agreement you have with the Lephalale municipality, but you have submitted and you are saying that the delay is caused by DMR. Then my question is, have you submitted everything to the DMR and there's no query from the DMR that you must maybe supplement the information that you have submitted?
Chair, the reports that have come to my knowledge is that the company has submitted what is required, and the response, and this has just happened, the last one, for instance, if it's not this week, it's just last week. Our team was here in the department here requesting approval of what I've presented here today. And the response was, we want to go and audit what you have done before we can approve this. There was nothing about inadequate information.
Supposed to put it that way, because the department has the responsibility to audit. And to allege that there is a delay while you were just with them last week, I mean, to me, you need to clarify so that we don't blame the department. Hence, you have just recently maybe submitted. When you are saying the delay is caused by them, maybe you should tell us, when did you submit the document to them? Last year, this year, last week? That is where we can maybe reasonable, say the delay is unreasonable from the department. But without that information, we can't just say the delay is caused by the department.
If I may, through your permission, when we submit, we're normally required to submit prior to a particular date for every cycle. And we comply with that. I don't have the date in my mind right now. But in terms of the protocol to submit, is that there is a prior date on which you are required to submit, and then you submit on that particular date, and then you wait for the response.
The date on which you were supposed to submit, but you just said that we submit. And then you say the delay is caused by another department. That's a very serious allegation, because they are sitting here in this room listening, and then they are blamed for delaying service delivery to our people. Our people get angry when there is no service delivery. Here we have a mine that allegedly submitted everything to DMR. DMR is delaying, but we are asking you, when were you supposed to submit? You don't know. How long you have been submitting, and how long they were supposed to come back to you? Nothing is coming
I would not say I don't know. The date is there.
Where?
In the documents of Exaro. I can adjourn, and I will come with that date, and I will give it to you. The point is, I cannot say there is a 1-year delay and it has not happened. So if that date was required for us to submit, which I can give it to you. In fact, Tebogo, if you don't mind, please find the date as we seated here from Exaro, and we'll give the date. And then we talk about the delay. So the fact that Exaro people were here in the office are also anxious about the time from the submission and the response that has not come forth. That's all what I'm saying.
Can we just agree that in the absence of the date, we are going to declare these allegations against the department as unfounded if you don't produce any evidence to support that? Okay, thanks.
Can I move forward, Chair? With respect to 56 houses, the houses are also in Lipolale that were built and commissioned and given to community. There was also an ask about the TVET college. TVET college, it is a college that offers education, a tier of education after matric in various skills that then equip students to can be employed in the corporates and businesses in the country. And I think then that at least misunderstanding, I have addressed it. With regard to health care, we have an existing agreement which is dating back with during the COVID time with the province here in Limpopo of collaborating in terms of addressing the health of both communities and also our own employees. And that has actually served us very well. Chair, if I can go back to the answer about the date. Now I have it. The date of submission was 6th of January 2023. Yes, that's the submission date. It hasn't, we haven't received the approval. I wouldn't know that, Chair. Thank you, I get you. With respect to engineering buses, the engineering refers to university and survey also university. And then the students that we are talking about are students from the community in Lipalale for what we have put on the presentation. And we sponsor them both at the university level. In fact, I also made a statement that we sponsor early childhood development. We move on to sponsor young people in the technical side of education from standard 8 up to matric, and also to university. Madam Chair, you also made a relationship between us and municipality. As I have alluded to earlier on, there is a forum that has been developed where community aspects are actually attended to, and we have got people who are elected democratically as representative of the Lipalale Development Forum that are working with us. If I may pause and go back to the health aspect, Madam Chair, is that when we refer to deliverables around health, these are clinics in silica, in Marapong, Lipalale, Abbotsfort, Shongwane, and Steenbokpan. So these are clinics that have been repaired and maintained, to be repaired and maintained in those areas from a healthcare perspective.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I'm not sure if there are any questions from the panel members.
Just one question from me, Mr. Veti. When last did you receive a visit from DMRE to conduct inspection, particularly on implementation of SLPs? Do you remember the date or the month?
28 May 2024.
Okay, thank you.
Just from my side, other mining companies advise that they have a complaints procedure. In respect of your mine, is there a complaints procedure? And if there is, can you please furnish the commission with the type of complaints that you have received, as well as a copy of that logbook? Thank you.
The documents required, Madam Chair, have been submitted.
Thank you so much. We will then just confirm whether we've received the logbook in respect of the complaints. So before we excuse you from the podium, do you have any closing remarks to make? If not, then you're duly excused.
The closing remark is to thank the Commission for inviting Exaro and inquiring about what we do for communities. Also take this seriously, and Exaro is committed in making sure that we make a meaningful impact on communities. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Exaro, for the presentations. May I kindly check with you, Chairperson, if we can break for tea? And when we come back from tea, then we're going to invite Office of the Premier to the podium. Well, thank you very much, colleagues. Let's break for tea, and it can only be 15 minutes. Let's kindly come back after 15 minutes.
Yesterday there was a there was a colleague of yours was here. She asked if we got the recommendation. I said I got an email from Belinda. I responded to Belinda to say the community doesn't confirm that yes. After that I received I remember when I think my colleague went to court, even the lady who was here, I said it's better to get that prior also, because the chair is inside also looking at the control. So I don't know, let me just check my emails now.
I don't think we have received this.
Yeah, there's nothing. So I don't have any official copy. And I don't know what will happen. Chair, this is just a colleague from Kalangwela municipality. I was just telling you that I don't have any copy. So we can't even comment if we don't have anything. Yeah, but I went and checked it.
WhatsAppela monna eo. Yeah. The statement we've sent. Colleagues outside, kindly make your way in the hall. And please be settled so we can proceed with our program. Today is the last day of the inquiry. We cannot take more time. Kindly walk in. Colleagues outside, kindly walk in. We can have a working tea. Ivatswalela lebati so that we can start. Mahlatse, please close the door. Thank you, Chair. It looks like our Office of the Premier it's ready and have already taken their place. May I check with you if I can invite them to the podium?
Invite them to the podium.
Thank you very much, Chair. May I kindly take this time to invite our DG, Mr. Napinchaveleng, to the podium to share with us the role of the Office of the Premier in protection of the mining rights, the rights of mining communities. Thank you, Chairperson. The podium is yours, sir.
Okay, I'll do it. Bring it. This one. Where do you have this?
Good morning, sir. We
morning.
have received a communication from Mr. Napinchabeling that he's not available today, given that he has prior commitments. He's then advised us that he's delegated yourself to act in his stead. Just for the record purpose, just introduce yourself, and then you may then take the oath after you've introduced yourself.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Rozani Morobi. I work for the Premier. I'm responsible for DG's Operations Strategic Management Support Services.
Thank you very much. So will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give, to the best of your knowledge and belief, is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Do you have any objection in taking the prescribed oath?
No.
Do you consider the prescribed oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
The podium is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Person. Good morning, Commissioner. I've already introduced myself. The DG, as confirmed by the chairperson, is committed with the Premier, and he delegated me to handle the presentation. I'm not alone. I'm with Mr. Poti Musoma, is Chief Director Monitoring and Evaluation. We've been here since we started. Thank you. The presentation table of content is as follows. We are going to deal with the mandate, also deal with Intergovernmental Relations Framework Act. We'll deal with the capacity building initiatives, and then conclusion. In terms of the Constitution, 1996, mining is a national competence, and as such, there's no dedicated unit person in the structure of Office of the Premier that deals with mining matters. We confirm, having advised the South African Human Rights Commission, that in the Limpopo Provincial Administration, the Limpopo Department of Economic Development, Environment and Tourism is responsible for socio-economic development matters. In this context, the Limpopo Department of Economic Development, Environment and Tourism, LIDET, is designated to attend to provincial mining-related matters that require provincial government attention, especially at the Intergovernmental Relations Framework level. Mining in the province is a dominant sector that affects both rural and urban communities. The South African Human Rights Commission has been formally informed that LIDET is the appropriate government department in the provincial administration that shall answer to all mining matters, and we confirm that position. The Office of the Premier remains committed to addressing issues affecting the mining communities within the provisions of Constitution and Intergovernmental Framework Relations Act through the district development model. Intergovernmental relations. We'll start with the situational analysis. There is a need to strengthen intergovernmental relations across spheres of government in keeping with the principle and objectives of district development model. It's been observed that there's weak participation of national departments, their entities, in the DDM implementation process and IDPs of municipalities. There's lack of internal capacity in municipalities to drive economic development and thus building a capable and development local government. There are challenges with youth and skills development, lack of well-coordinated intergovernmental plans to support the district economic space. What did I do? Okay. Action taken. Implementation of the district development model across districts coordinated through the Premier's IGR forum. all districts directed to develop district-wide LEDs with focus on skills for the district economy, which will incorporate mining activities. All District 1 plans and IDPs revised to incorporate mining, social and labor plans to ease of coordination and oversight. I think that's very important. To improve livelihoods of mining host communities, LIDET and DMRA continue to drive economic participation and inclusion of locals through the enterprise and supply development programs. Joint operations between DMRA and SAPS continue to act on illegal mining activities across the province. Focus area for 2024-2025 financial year, we are going to accelerate implementation and monitoring of DDM in district on quarterly basis to address service delivery issues, including mining beneficiation programs. We are going to strengthen political oversight of DDM champions to effectively implement the DDM and identify catalytic projects through the recently promulgated DDM regulations. We're going to implement the provincial human capital strategy in partnership with CITAS, Institution of Higher Learning, and private sector. We are going to accelerate efforts towards establishment of mining academy in Skokoni district. We're going to mainstream IGR for accelerated service delivery, co-create IGR plans, and forge strategic partnership with the private sector through corporate social investment efforts. Under capacity building initiatives, we believe that traditional leaders are agents of local economic and rural development. And we have organized a workshop for them on the 22nd to 24th of March. It was attended by 48 traditional leaders who were identified in consultation with the Department of Cooperative Government, Human Settlement, Traditional Affairs, together with the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders. We think they are very central if they are to execute their task at development level. The workshop was designed to equip traditional leaders and government officials to support operations of traditional authorities with skills, competencies to spearhead local economic development in partnership with municipalities and private sector. Economic planning and investment promotion course. This course was attended by 50 beneficiaries. Disaggregated as follows. 45 were from provincial departments which constitute economic cluster. In economic cluster, we include LIDET, COGSTA, Public Works, and that also includes the following municipalities: Musina local municipality, Makado local municipality, Vembe district municipality, Fitahomu Tubatse local municipality, and Skokoni district municipality. The municipal officials who attended the training are responsible for the development, implementation, and monitoring of integrated development plans or local economic development plans which are designed to enhance economic growth and social development in respective of municipal areas. Conclusion. The Office of the Premier, COGTA, and LIDET will continue to support both municipalities and traditional councils with capacity building program focusing on LED. The Office of the Premier will review the district development model approach to prioritize the integration of social labor plans in mining communities in consultation with LIDET, COGTA, and DML. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. you may take over with the questions.
Thank you very much for that presentation. I will then ask the Senior Legal Officer to ask his set of questions, followed by the Provincial Manager, and then in conclusion, I'll ask my set of questions, then you'll be given an opportunity to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Maybe the line of questioning might require us to go back to back. I'm happy that you were here from day one. Maybe I should just start by asking, you were here, you had the cries from some of the members of the public. You've had the responses, the challenges from some of the departments or other institutions that were before the inquiry. Was the Office of the Premier aware of these issues? And in your response, I want you to also reflect. I understood the presentation from the OTP very well. It went above board, but it focused on what the position of the OTP is in respect of its mandate, but it wasn't really reflecting on what has been before the inquiry. So while you are sitting there, this is the opportunity for you to also reflect on behalf of the OTP. Were you aware, what are your responses as the Office of the Premier in respect of the issues that have been disclosed before the inquiry?
Thank you, Chair. In addition to the question that has been asked by the SLO, I would like to know from you on behalf of the Office of the Premier whether you are happy with the current arrangement in our province. After listening to all the stakeholders, do you think the way we have arranged our governance structures can really protect the rights of our people as enshrined in the Constitution, more especially in particular in the mining area? So that's number one. I just want to get the views from your side, whether you are happy with that, taking into account that we are going to a new administration now, that we can't shy away that it will also be serving the people of Limpopo. So are you happy with the governance structure? Do you think our people, if our community members have challenges regarding the mining activities, zooming into the, more especially in Lephalale, do you think the administration of Lephalale municipality can be in the position to protect the rights of our people, taking into account that we have not received any, we could not find a distinction between the responsibility of a government structure, which is the municipality, and the mine? So do you think with that arrangement, the rights of our people are protected or can be protected? Number two, I must also disclose to you that we have two municipalities that have not appeared before the Commission. In terms of our Act and the Constitution, government institutions have the duty to support the Human Rights Commission in the execution of its mandate. And they have to cooperate with the Human Rights Commission. Noting that these two municipalities have not communicated with the Human Rights Commission. Some of them, one of them confirmed that they will be coming, but they decided not to come in the last minute. From your view, do you really think that the information that we receive from the individuals or community members from Khalakwena and Fitahomo. Can you be convinced as the office of the Premier that indeed those people will be, their complaints will be attended to? Lastly, I must also disclose to you on record that during the process of inviting the municipalities, we engage with Fitahome municipality, of which after a few hours after the commencement of the hearing, we then receive a letter from the attorneys representing the municipality manager. We are not yet clear as to what is that, how the attorneys come into being, if we are all well conversant with the Human Rights Commission Act, and which part of our request or our invitation or our notice need a lawyer. While we have received that particular letter, maybe I should just put on record that the institution that we are dealing with here, all of them, might have more resources than Fitahome municipality to hire the biggest law firms and decide not to come and just send lawyers to the Human Rights Commission. It should be noted that our act is structured in such a way that it's not everywhere where you should use lawyers. You can have your lawyer sitting here, but you still have the responsibility to answer to the commission, whether you are private or public. I think one of the precedents that must be noted is that the current president of the country appeared before the commission. I think he would have maybe sent the best brains, the best lawyers to come on and appear on his behalf. And taking his responsibility, I don't think his diary can be compared with the diary of the MM. So an MM saying that I'm busy, I'm committed, and I cannot even assign anyone to come and appear, that is worrying to us as the commission. And it also provides an answer as to why we have protest every day in this country. This is the attitude that is given by this particular two municipality. They also have the highest number of protests in the province. And one cannot be surprised. Now, from now onwards, the Premier's office must not be surprised why people of Mkhalakwena and people and the Tuvatu municipality are protesting day in and day out without any answer to their grievances. As the office of the Premier, with that being said, do you really think the attitude displayed, as I've said, by these two municipalities can really represent the attitude of the government of Limpopo together with its own municipalities? Is this the attitude of the government? But I can say, maybe I don't want to preempt the answer, but I believe that you will give us the comment on that. I must also indicate to you, we were all sitting here, you were listening to Sifatane, chrome mining, Sfateng, Sfateng. They indicated that they've tried by all means to get the municipality, towards the Fitahome municipality, to sign the SLP. So which means that to the individual within towards Fitahome and Sifateng municipality, they are blocking the project that was supposed to benefit our people. And when our people protest, we blame them. But here we have individuals who have been mentioned under oath that they don't want to sign those documents. So we don't want to go deeper into some allegations that we have received, not against Fitahomutu, but municipality, that when the mining companies, when they want documents to be approved by the municipalities, municipality officials demand certain payment before they can sign those documents. So that's why I was following up on the issue of Lipalale, just to get clarity. Who should be blamed? And it's a bit frustrating when we are sitting as the commission that we have officials who decided not to come. For what reason, we don't know, but they run. When our people do not have water, they can't pay for our people to get water, but they can pay lawyers to fight Human Rights Commission. Our people are crying. They want water, they want sanitation, they want housing. We booked this venue, but the municipality manager decided to go to the lawyers and pay more than what he can pay for transport to come here and give us information. So as the Office of the Premier, I would just appreciate your comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, PM, and I think we all, as panel members, share the very same sentiments. And I think for me, it's concerning that Mohalakwena is not here, especially given the allegations that were put to them by a community member. But that you will answer when you answering the PM's questions. Mine, it speaks about when the House of Traditional Leaders spoke, they said they seem to, it appears that traditional leaders are on their own on the ground in respect of mining communities, and they shared that, you know, some of their houses have been burned, they had to relocate, and there is no support from government structures. In your presentation, you advised that there was a 3-day workshop, and unfortunately, a 3-day workshop is insufficient to provide the necessary capacity that is needed by traditional leaders to interact with mining communities. It's very unfortunate that it's 3 days, because you'd want them to understand what is socio-economic development and how it needs to be interrogated and how SLPs work. And I note that, you know, yesterday I was very harsh with the DMRE, and today I'm saying that in respect of human capital, they are understaffed. What is the Office of the Premier doing? And I note that this is a new administration, and I hope that they take note of these issues that communities are facing. When mining communities fail to properly function, it affects the economy of Limpopo, but also it affects service delivery. As we've noted in Lepale's presentation, there is an integration of the IDPs into SLPs. And I asked that question, and I said, where does the municipality start and stop, and where does the mining companies start? It goes about accountability. How does a municipality hold a mining company accountable when they benefit from that mining company, when they fail to provide for the communities? It is noted that even in the community complaints and leaders who came here and provided their oversight and their view of what was happening on the ground in respect of communities, communities feel frustrated at the process they have to undergo in municipal offices. They are taken from pillar to post. I note that in your presentation you say that the issue of mining is a national aspect which does not fall within the province, so therefore there's no designated office within the Premier's office to deal with mining issues. LEDED made a presentation yesterday, and they said there's a government mining task team that was started in 2020, which consists of the Premier, the MEC of LEDED, as well as the HOD. And I asked him, does he think that this task team is sufficient enough to deal with the issues on the ground? Because we have issues arising from formal mining, and then we have issues that are arising from illegal mining. I think I need your comment on this, because he did not necessarily answer sufficiently in respect of the capacity of this government mining task team and the role that it would play in ensuring that mining communities benefit from mining activities. I note, and it's important to highlight, that the Premier's office plays an oversight in the interdepartmental relationship in ensuring that the Limpopo province benefits its people. I asked a member of SALGA and the representative from SALGA whether there is an interdepartmental failure to monitor mining companies sufficiently, which results in a failure to hold those companies accountable. And her answer was yes. Can you comment on her answer, and looking forward to the new administration, how do you think you would then, as an oversight institution, ensure that there's intergovernmental, which you've mentioned in your slides, cooperation to ensure that mining communities and mining companies work in a way that benefits the people and does not violate their human rights? And then lastly, I think I'm just going to highlight what the senior legal officer had stated, that when you're answering, can you please then advise what is the role of the Office of the Premier in the protection of the rights of mining companies, if there is such a role? And if there isn't, does legislation need to be changed to allow provinces to manage mining activities within the provinces? Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for the questions. I'll start with the last one. I think we are required by the Intergovernmental Framework Act to interface and interact with all spheres of government. It should be possible for us to make item of this nature a standing item until matters have been resolved. I can see that after listening to all the presentations, we need to up our game to improve in terms of how we deal with this one. So the structure of intergovernmental relation exists, but we'll have to ensure that we push this item as one of standing items so that we handle them. Now, we have got a technical committee dealing with facilitation of relating to mining issues, but also there's a committee who deals with illegal mining. On this facilitation one, I think we need to reinforce it and ensure that the political part of it is also in place, because we established this one during COVID, and then we need to just reinforce so that there's more capacity and focus to support the technical one. Technical one is still a meeting, like it was confirmed. It met, I think the last meeting was in February. If I remember the last time when we checked their engagement, they were dealing with issues at Mashashana. There was a conflict there. So we have to reinforce these structures in a way of answering the question which relates to governance matters. We are committing ourselves as the office to go and review all the DDM plans so that there's specific focus on social labor plans. We hope that this will help to bring the challenges, to deal with the challenges facing our people, our communities. Of course, we'll have to see how best can we engage both the debt and also COGTA and DMR, so that we see if there's enough capacity we are required by law. The Constitution endangers us to support all spheres of government. There's a way of doing that. So if there's a capacity required by the province, national can come. There's a legal instrument to do that. If municipalities need capacities, there's a legal instrument to do that. Even when the national department, if they need capacity, they are legal. We'll have to discuss how best can we get them are capacitated to using the instrument I've mentioned, so that these issues are attended to. Now, the issue of traditional leaders, we are always available to support the traditional leaders. We have started, I take your point, Chairperson, we may need to do more to ensure that we through the Department of Local Government, which hosts the House of Traditional Leaders, we are able to make more efforts so that we achieve desired result. So we are committing ourselves to engage so that we don't want our traditional leaders to be complaining, so that they are able to provide a necessary support to development activities, so that they are not defocused by side issues. The officials of municipalities, Chairperson, maybe I must indicate, we as the Office of the Premier is committed to support the efforts who are required by law to support your office, the Human Rights Commission. And we will commit ourselves to cooperate with you. The issue of municipalities not coming here is totally not acceptable. And we are going to see, to check and use the instruments which we have to, in consultation with LIDED, of course, and also a COCTA, to ensure that necessary action is taken. It is totally not acceptable. So we commit ourselves, we'll take necessary action, and we'll report to you in due course. Yesterday we were trying to act on some of the things, and we couldn't necessarily succeed, but it's fine. We will take action. We'll take action and then report to you. It's totally not acceptable, because for us, for the country and everybody to work, we need to cooperate with the Commission. We're not doing a Commission a favor. We are required by law to support the Commission so that the rights of our people are protected, especially the ones in the mining communities. Corruption. Chairperson, we will really request that we be favored with relevant information, not here, given the sensitivity. But it's totally not acceptable. You can't block development because people want money from developers or from the mining. And it couldn't have been said at the right time. Part of my job, Chairperson, in the office, is to arrest people who do corruption. So I'll be very happy to be given that information. I also invite everybody, if there are issues like that, please let us know. We've got instruments and units responsible for that. I'm heading the one in the Office of the Premier to hunt and look for people who behave in this manner. So we're not going to have mess on that front. We can't hold development. I mean, we are paid, Mus. And remember, the state is taking a lot of efforts to mobilize mines and other developers to come invest in our area in Limpopo. All of a sudden, one person say development cannot continue because they have not been paid, this and that cannot happen. It's not acceptable. So we'll take action on that front. The other part, let me check what I have here also. I've dealt with this one. These ones who didn't come and write letters, we are going to engage local government and lead it and investigate what really happened. Why do you take that approach? Because we're endangered by the Constitution to cooperate with all elements of government. I think that is the attitude. And our understanding is that the Commission intends to have a product which says, let's focus, all of us, to support the communities who are operating at the, where the mines are operating. And we can always benefit and improve if we are cooperating with the Commission, so that we improve the life of our people on the ground. That is our understanding, and we reaffirm our commitment to support the Commission and its efforts. I have noted also, I spoke about the need to do the review, to include our thinking is that we must just really focus on the subject we deal with social labor plans until at least the issues are resolved to an acceptable level. Are we happy with the situation? No, we can't be happy, Chairperson, Commissioner. We were sitting here and we were listening. We commit ourselves to improve the situation and zoom in and focus. I think next time when we meet, the situation will have improved to a higher level, and we'll have to interact with you more. We'll also ask that we should not also hold matters, even other stakeholders. Let's try to communicate, bring focus, and it's proper that some of us who are located to that high office will be able to intervene and ensure that matters are resolved. So we can do better, Chairperson. In summation, I think the issues raised here are very concerning. We need to yes, thank you very much, Poti. I nearly missed that one. We are constantly interacting with the Department of Local Government and also LIDET in dealing with these issues. To an extent that we think we should zoom more, so that there's nothing we lose out of space. We would want to come to a forum like this next time and tick all the boxes. We can always improve so that we can do better than we are performing collectively as the office, as government, after listening to the presentation. Some of the issues we were aware, some we were not, but I think we take responsibility in terms of our responsibility to ensure that government operate in an integrated manner. So our response is that we can still do better. In conclusion, Chairperson, Commissioner, and the team, our attitude is that we are willing to cooperate with the Commission. We are calling all the departments, all municipalities to cooperate with the Commission to ensure that the life of and the rights of people in the mining communities are really protected. We owe it to our people. That is my submission, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Senior Legal Officer, do you have any further questions and remarks?
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Morobe, I just want to highlight certain aspects which I think are very, very important. Section 125 of the Constitution provides that the executive authority of the province is vested in the Premier of the province. And then it further outlines the powers and the roles, or the role played. And we have heard from different testimonies that there is reliance on legislation that we have. It can be national legislation, it can be policies. The mining charter was mentioned multiple times, right? But you can see that these legislation that are referred to, they're not really bridging the gap where, and now giving rise to the issues that we have before the inquiry. Is the Office of the Premier capacitated enough to enact, prepare and initiate maybe provincial legislation to bridge that gap? We heard from two departments. In fact, we heard from Coxstar, we heard from Salga as well, evenly that. But if you look at the legislation that they rely on, I'll give an example. There is a concept that is used by all these three institutions. We oversee, we give training, we support. We also give guidance and direction. What happens if your direction is not carried out? It then hangs in the air. It means that now there isn't any accountability. I come and show you the right way. If you don't follow it, there's nothing I can do. To an extent, Coxstar indicated that they have the mandate to even take things further to court, but they haven't. But we see how things are at this stage. Just wanted to hint on that and just hear from your side. I know we have new administration, as you said, but I would like to hear your position after what I just said now.
PM?
Just one, maybe just to add from what my colleague mentioned. I think he is very correct. In our previous hearing regarding water and sanitation, access to water and sanitation, the Premier's office make a presentation. In fact, there is a finding against the Office of the Premier for its failure to play its oversight role. I think when we read the legislation, when we say the Office of the Premier will play oversight role, I think we should read in, or we should interpret that, or we should use a purposive interpretation of that particular concept of oversight. Because to me, if we say Premier's office have oversight role, it can't just be that the Office of the Premier will go around and observe what is happening and what is going wrong and do nothing. It can't be. This is the highest office in the province. When things get messed up in the province, we look at the Office of the Premier. So we can't have the Office of the Premier that is not holding oversight role. There must be consequences. It's like the Human Rights Commission having the mandate to observe the respect for human rights. Observing does not mean that the Human Rights Commission will just go and monitor and say, oh, you are violating the rights this side and that side and all those things. We also have to hold you accountable. That's why we have the mandate to take the government to court. But I must say that if you hear the Human Rights Commission taking legal action against anyone, you must know that we have done everything we can to get positive results. With regard to government department, we can take the government to court, and government can do with the court order. But you must know that we will do that with our hearts bleeding. Because I'm not going to use my funds or my money to go to court to protect the rights of the people who are also paying the tax for us to get salary. Then when they want service, Human Rights Commission must now go and hire lawyers to take you to court. I don't think that is the intention of the Constitution. That's why some of the complaints, we need to resolve them through negotiations, through inquiry like this, where we don't spend or pay a lot of money for lawyers. It's not the intention of the Constitution to have us resolving matters always through the courts. It does not work that way. We have to save the government. Let us respect the public purse. Yes, we are given power from different levels, but that money does not belong to us. It belongs to the people of South Africa. And when they hear us going to court for forcing the municipality to give them water, we must not think that they are happy. And we don't want them to express their anger. If I can quote one thing that the Premier have said, I must say that we are not hosting this event because the Premier said she wants to focus on the mining sector to develop these provinces. That is what she said. This hearing had been planned from last year. So this might be a very good opportunity now to build from what the Premier have said and say all those gaps that his office was here, her office was here listening, those gaps have now been identified. We can see where the gaps are. And one thing that we must understand, all of us, she also said that 74% that Limpopo people have given her and their party, they must see changes in this province. It must not just go as if there's nothing. That is what I'm quoting her words. So we are saying the office of the Premier today is aware of those issues. The monitoring and evaluation from the office of the Premier. Are there any consequences? Are there any assistance that you are providing to this municipality that are not delivering? What is your intervention? Thank you.
I don't have any further statements, but please answer those. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let's start with the issue of legislation. It should be possible, looking at the separation of powers, in the context of separation of powers, but it should be possible for us to initiate a process which will look into that. We can find a way of going through our, in consultation with LEADED and COCTA, we can open a discussion on the matter so that we, led by State Attorney, and go through the cluster situation, because it's really a challenge. I mean, the report says this thing is not being helpful. So the last time I checked, where anything which doesn't help you, you must drop it, whatever it is. Now, I think we commit ourselves to go and look into the matter and see how best we can be. But I remember at some stage we had to do a review of legislation. There's a process of doing that, audit of legislation, and check how that happened. But within the context of the powers which we have and the separation of powers as we understand it. But we commit ourselves to do something about it. Come next time, we'll do it in consultation with you also. Come next time, if we ask the same question, I think we will be able to respond what we've done about it. It is a problem. after hearing what people have been saying. So we must have, it must bite, it must have teeth, so that if things are not happening, somebody must be able to handle that. So we'll be advised by our legal service, but I believe that can be attended to. We are prepared to give a report on what have we done in looking at the matter, to initiate the process to look at this, at the subject. On please don't take us to court. Don't take. We were willing to cooperate with the commission. We think we can do better, and we'll ensure that we tighten the grip and use the powers we have from legislation and constitution to ensure that these matters are attended to. We are a willing partner in this intervention. We are a willing partner in the intervention, and believe in me, we are going to take. It was very touching when we listened to the issues. Next time we meet, we'll be approaching this thing different. We are going to tighten the grip. I think we've got capacity to do so. And then, of course, if there are gaps informed by the legislations, we are going to start a process to tighten up the process. So please, don't take us to court. We are willing and to cooperate with you. We are going to ensure that any other person, especially government departments, municipalities, we are going to encourage them to cooperate with you, because you are a South African institution, and we are not doing a favor. We are duty bound, all of us in the country, to support your initiative and cooperate with you. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm advised here by my chief, the last one. I forgot that one. We have been taking action, but I think we must just tighten it up. We've been putting a lot of municipalities in administration, and in cooperation with COCTA. I hope other municipalities should not invite the same from us, but action we've been taking. So we're going to tighten the grip. Thank you very much, Chairperson, the Commission. Once more, we are willing to cooperate and do better in the interest of mining communities on the ground, and also supporting development brought by mining houses. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation, as well as your engagement with the panel. Before I let you go, do you have any final remarks? If you don't, then you are duly excused, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Office of the Premier. Thank you very much, Chairperson. May I kindly request you to come to the podium to give remarks on where we are. As on my program, it shows us that we are at the end of this program. Kindly come give direction on where we are, Chairperson. Thank you so much.
In terms of, ladies and gentlemen, it's 12 o'clock, so it's good afternoon. In terms of our program, we are actually at the part where I make my closing remarks and I adjourn the inquiry. In terms of the earlier deliberations you've noted, and the provincial manager did highlight that 2 municipalities were invited, and in fact, in respect of Fetahomu, Dubatse municipality, we have not received any communication except through their attorneys. In respect of that particular municipality, the panel will take deliberations, and then we will take the appropriate action, and then we will communicate same with that affected municipality as well as the municipal manager. In respect of Magala Mokoena municipality, we do have representatives from that municipality. However, they have failed to provide us with written submissions from the municipal manager advising that they are mandated to appear on his behalf. Therefore, as a result, we will then take a decision as the panel, and then we'll communicate same with the municipal representatives and then take appropriate action in that regard. Therefore, I will then proceed with making my closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this crucial provincial inquiry into the violations of human rights in mining communities in Limpopo, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all attendees over the past few days. We have heard from a diverse array of voices, including the academia, community members, government stakeholders, mining companies, and the Office of the Premier. Your invaluable insights and testimonies have shed light to pressing issues surrounding the violations of human rights in mining communities within Limpopo. This inquiry has reaffirmed our commitment as the Human Rights Commission to uphold and protect human rights as enshrined in our Constitution, particularly those related to a safe, healthy, and sustainable environment. The testimonies we have gathered underscore the gravity of environmental degradation and its adverse impacts on the health and well-being of vulnerable communities. The air pollution, water contamination, structural damages, and other environmental hazards resulting from mining activities in Limpopo have sufficient human rights implications. It is evident there are systematic issues and persistent disregard of previous recommendations made by the Commission. Businesses, especially those in the mining sector, have a fundamental responsibility to respect human rights. This includes not only avoiding harm, but also actively contributing to the well-being of the communities which they operate. The scrutiny of social labor plans during this inquiry has highlighted the importance of these legal binding documents in ensuring that the benefits of mining extend to local communities through initiatives such as skills development, infrastructure improvement, and the provision of essential services like water and sanitation. The principles of pro-poor human rights budgeting and gender dimension have also been a crucial focal point. Resources must be allocated in a manner that prioritizes the needs of the most vulnerable populations, promoting equitable development and social justice. Women and children, often disproportionately affected by environmental degradation and inadequate living conditions, must be given special consideration in our efforts to address these challenges. This inquiry focused on several key objectives: assessing the extent of challenges faced by communities due to mining activities, investigating the systematic nature and causes of these challenges, evaluating the adequate measures and plans in place to address these issues, both from the mining companies as well as from government stakeholders. Reviewing adherence to the Commission's previous directives and compliance with social and labor plans by mining authorities. Ensuring that business operations respect human rights and contribute to the well-being of affected communities. The participation of a broad spectrum of stakeholders, including complainants, mining houses, government departments, municipalities, traditional leaders, and institutions of higher learning has been crucial to a comprehensive understanding and addressing of a multifaceted issues at hand. Moving forward, the procedure outlined for this inquiry involves issuing a hearing report with findings and recommendation. This report will aim to promote accountability, ensure adherence to human rights standards, and secure redress for affected communities. We will continue to engage with the relevant stakeholders to monitor the implementation of these recommendations and to ensure that the voices of the affected communities are heard and addressed. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all participants for their commitment to this important cause. Your time, effort, and inputs have been invaluable in the success of this inquiry. Together we can strive towards a sustainable future that respects and upholds the rights of all individuals. Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to say I call an end to this inquiry. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may go and enjoy lunch. Thank you.